Damian Lillard has actually requested a trade from the Portland Trail Blazers. He has spent the past 11 seasons with the Blazers and has said over the course of probably, the past 3 or 4 years how he wants to stay loyal to Portland. Portland is his home. He doesn't want to go to a different team. And it turns out that was a big lie, and he had a problem with ring chasing, and now it seems like that's actually what he's doing, moving away from Portland because they're no longer, they haven't been a contender for a number of years now, and he wants to go to a team that'll actually contend, like the Heat, Clippers, Celtics, Sixers. The Spurs have even showed interest, the Timberwolves, the Pelicans. A lot of teams are trying to jump in on Damian Lillard. So I don't know, what is your reaction to Damian Lillard's request for a trade? And also, what team do you see Damian Lillard going to when it's all said and done?
Well, I think that he remained more loyal to them than they were to him.
Okay.
Right? I mean, they went 11 years there. They didn't win a championship. They did make the playoffs a few times. They didn't put the pieces around him to get them to the championship. So that's one thing. And now they used their draft pick to pick a point guard. Right?
Right.
So, I think that Lillard, I don't begrudge him for requesting a trade. I think he's making the right move for himself, right? I mean, he did spend 11 years with them. So it's not like he didn't show a lot of loyalty to that team, right? He gave them every chance. They were horrible last year.
They were.
Right? And he had a great year. So it's not him. It's the pieces on around him to make the team better. And that team didn't do it for him. So now they're going to rebuild, and he's going to request a trade, and that will help them rebuild, right? They should get a lot for him, for sure.
You would think.
He doesn't have a no-trade clause, so he could wind up with any team. I hope they will try to put him on a team that has a chance.
Right.
I think he wants to, maybe you call it ring chasing. I think he deserves a chance to try to compete for a championship with a team that has a good chance for it. And,
right.
They can't trade him until the 9th of July, but that's right around the corner here. It's
about a week.
Less than a week.
Less than a week
now. So he's going to be traded, that's for sure. The question is, where's he going? So in my mind, I think the Heat are going to do everything they can to get him.
Right.
And they're going to have to give up some stuff, but they're not going to have to give up. They'll have a core three. Right, they'll have Bam, and they'll have Jimmy Butler, and they'll have him.
Right,
that'll be their core three, and then they have Caleb Martin. I think they'll retain him.
Okay,
and I think they'll have to trade Hero, and some of those other. There's a few other small guys that are not big name guys. I think it's Hero's a big guy, and some other lesser names, and then some draft picks, a couple of draft picks. But so I think that likely he'll wind up with the Heat. But I see the Celtics are showing interest. I don't know how they could make that happen.
You probably put Malcolm Brogdon, Peyton Pritchard, and you probably have to include Robert Williams because he's a big piece. And probably the Portland has always had a problem with consistent big men, a forward or a center. That could play other really good defense or produce some offense to help out Damian Lillard. Mm-hmm. So you would probably have to add him along with probably 2 or 3 future first round picks. The Heat.
I think the Celtics should be worried about the Heat getting Lillard.
Yeah.
Right, because that strengthens that team. Although their bench and their role players will be kind of decimated.
Yeah.
By that, I'm not sure what they'll do to replenish that. I mean, they lost Vincent.
Yeah.
Right? And they lost
Max Strus.
Yeah, they both lost him. Those are 2 pretty key players for them last year. So, but putting Lillard in there, losing those 2 guys and replace him with Damian Lillard, I think they just step up.
They also lost Cody Zeller yesterday, who was a pretty.
He did okay.
He did okay. He was a good backup. And they also lost Victor Oladipo, who's going back to the Thunder.
Oh yeah.
So he's gone as well. So right now you're left with Kyle Lowry, and that's your only point guard. Because Tyler Hero is considered a shooting guard, and he'll probably be a part of that trade to send Damian Lillard to the Heat potentially.
Does Lillard have any interest in the Nets? I don't see them mentioned here. I thought that he had I thought he said he might be willing to go there. They have
the
Bridges,
Heat are his favorite team.
Bridges and Johnson.
Well, Bridges, I don't think they're going to. I highly doubt Bridges is going to go anywhere from the Nets.
No, I don't think he's going anywhere. I thought that Lillard would join them. Yeah, that would be the big three for them.
I don't think you should. Because right now, the report is that the Heat are the obvious favorites because it makes sense. They just made the finals. They're a pretty good team. They're a really good team. They made the finals.
They have a great coach.
They do have a phenomenal coach, and he wants to be part of that legendary Miami culture with Pat Riley, with Eric Spoelstra. So it would be interesting to see whether or not he goes there.
I think they're the favorite.
I think what Portland should do is the way that most, respected superstars or respected legends do. They go, or the team trades them to a team that they want to go to. They don't trade them to the highest bidder generally. They trade them to the team that the player like Damian Lillard would want to go to. So my guess would be, if I had to take a guess, it probably would be the Heat. I do not think Portland's going to screw Lillard over by trading him to the Pelicans, the Timberwolves, or the Spurs. But I think no matter what team, I think the 76ers are a big question mark on whether or not they could go deep in the playoffs with Damian Lillard on that team. Because the amount you need to give up, probably the 76ers would have to give up to get Damian Lillard, would probably be a huge shock in your core. Plus, you still don't have Tyrese Maxey, who you haven't extended yet, and there's probably a big asterisk whether or not you'll re-sign him at all. The report was the front office really likes to re-sign him. He sees them in their future, but they haven't re-signed him yet because they want that flexibility in the free agency. So the Heat probably are probably going to be the best bidder for Damian Lillard for just personnel reasons, for culture reasons. The price, I'm not too sure, because once again, you don't have a star to give up. You don't have a star to give up whatsoever. You have Tyler Hero, who has been injury prone the past couple of years, but has been incredibly efficient when he plays. He's a 20-point scorer as a sixth man. So he's incredibly efficient off the bench. You may need to give up a Duncan Robinson or a Caleb Martin. Now, they don't probably want to give up Caleb Martin, but you may have to, along with future first-round picks. And, it's very hit or miss later in the rounds, generally in the NBA draft, whether or not you're going to get a star to a superstar in the draft later on in the draft. So maybe the future first-round picks or, second-round picks too doesn't matter that much, and maybe you're only on a win-now situation. But to have Bam, Butler, and Damian Lillard there, that could be a finals team again. The Celtics, you add that to Derek White, Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, and Kristaps Porzingis, Al Horford. That's also a championship team.
Yeah.
Do I think, though, Embiid and Lillard and Tobias Harris can get you to the promised land? I don't think so. I also don't think Wemby and Lillard could get you there as well. I don't think, because apparently Cat is supposedly on the trading block for the Timberwolves. I don't think Gobert and Damian Lillard can get you there at all. And then the Pelicans, Brandon Ingram, there's a chance you may need to give up Brandon Ingram, because I don't see the Pelicans should, but I don't think they will move off of Zion, because his upside when he plays is some of the best efficiency we've seen in NBA history, except he doesn't play.
Lillard's owed a lot of money.
He is. He's owed about $92 million, give or take.
Yeah.
I have the number here. It's $93 million over the next 2 years.
He's no youngster, but I still think he's got 3 good years in him, for sure.
I would probably agree with you, yeah. Now, he just came off of a phenomenal season, having over 32 points a game, along with 7 assists as well, shooting almost 38% from 3 and nearly 50% from the floor.
He's their only player. So
he was basically doing everything. But we also have to realize...
What did he shoot? What was his shooting percentage?
46.3% from the floor, 37.1 from 3. That's good.
Really good.
And he could also make his free throws, which some people on the Heat have a problem with, making free throws. So my guess would be the Heat are probably the correct answer here to team up with Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo. That'll probably be the way you want to go. But the question is, what are teams going to pay? He's a 32-year-old guard. The last time he played a full season was 2014, 2015. He hasn't played an entire season, and that could be he sits out because the Trailblazers have been out of playoff contention for a while, so they want to sit him, don't want to get him hurt. Yeah. He only played 29 games, not this year, but for the previous year as well. He played 58 this year, so he's not a full season player, and at 32 years old, how much could you really expect from a guard who basically needs to try his very hardest day in and day out to win you games because Portland is so bad? On the Heat, you could take one step back a little bit on maybe your 110% effort and maybe drop it down to 90% because you have other guys you can rely on, like a Jimmy Butler, like Bam. So you have those types of players. The question is, though, who will back up Damian Lillard? You're going to see 38-year-old Kyle Lowry in the as a backup?
Don't they have him signed for another year?
No, he's on the team, yeah.
Yeah, so I think he'll be the one.
I don't think, really.
He's going to be coming off the bench again.
My guess would be this is going to be like a Suns situation. Now, the Suns actually have been signing pretty decent bench players, but it could be the Suns we saw last year where you have a great top 3, or in the Suns' case, it was a top 4 if you want to include Ayton at the time, who averaged nearly 20 and 10. But you had Chris Paul, you had Devin Booker, and you had KD. They had no one else. If the Heat go in and trade away Tyler Hero, 20 points a game, you trade away some other role players, you could give up Caleb Martin. Who are you going to have when Dame or Butler or Bam are off the court? This could just be a really good starting lineup. And then outside, you better hope
no bench.
You better hope Dame and Butler and Bam could score enough points so when they come off the bench, you don't plummet into every loss. Now, they were already the lowest scoring team last year. Dead last in scoring.
That will change with Lillard on their team.
27th in three-point shooting. They should improve if they go get Lillard. But
they need to pick up some more pieces, and where they're going to get them from, I'm not sure. I mean, a lot of the decent players are already signed.
I think if the Celtics want to re-sign Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum,
they aren't going to get
to $613 million max extensions, they're not going to go get Damian Lillard.
No.
Now, the Clippers, we're going to talk about this in our next topic, the Clippers just got a bargain for Russell Westbrook, which is the steepest, what was it? It was the largest pay cut in NBA history. Went from like $47 million all the way down to, was it $3.4 million per year or something like that?
He has a player option, though.
He does. So we're going to talk about that next.
It's really a one-year deal, and he's going to try hard to play well so he gets a bigger payday next year.
That's probably what it's going to be. So I think we both agree on this. Damian Lillard probably to the Heat. That's the team he wants to go to. I think Portland will honor that.
Who do you think second is? If he doesn't make it to the Heat, who would it be?
I'm going to say it's the Clippers because I think if the Clippers offer Paul George, who they're trying to see what his trade value is, that could be interesting to see whether or not depending on outside of Paul George, what else the Clippers give up. That could be interesting to see, if Portland is intrigued by the Clippers offer more than the Heat one. So we'll have to wait and see. But I do think we both agree the Heat are in first place to get Damian Lillard.
Yeah.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, if you want to check out the full episode, make sure you click the I in the top right-hand corner right now. If you want to listen to this show anywhere you go, make sure you go to anchor.fm/The Harvey Hour or anywhere you get your podcasts.